Every so often in the news, we hear a tragic story of a student athlete who suddenly dies in the middle of a game or at a team practice. Many times it's because of certain undetected heart conditions that can affect athletes or any young person. Fortunately, here at HISD, many of our students are taking part in screenings to detect heart abnormalities. It's all part of a partnership with the Center for Coronary Artery Anomalies at the Texas Heart Institute. HISD's Deborah Sanchez tells us more.
Still for a few seconds and we'll be off. We'll be done.
It may look like this HISD middle school student is at the doctor's office, but he's actually getting his heart screened inside this 18-wheeler.
We were very excited that they wanted to come to our school so that we could involve our students.
The Texas Heart Institute's mobile imaging unit is currently parked outside Pershing Middle School, but it will eventually move on to other HISD campuses over the next year.
This particular program involves screening middle school age children in the Houston area.
The screenings are designed to detect heart problems that otherwise may not be found through normal exams.
I want to know if my heart is healthy.
The free screenings are non-invasive and are totally voluntary.
That's it.
They include an MRI and an electrocardiogram, which both can be done rather quickly. At Pershing, the students are screened during their PE class.
We could actually get 2 kids per class period, so we're able to screen about 7 or 8 kids a day.
In addition to providing screenings, the Texas Heart Institute will use the data they collect to learn more about heart abnormalities in young people.
The reality is that we do not know what the prevalence of these high-risk cardiovascular conditions are in the general population. So one of the results of this research is to get an assessment of what that prevalence is.
So far, the mobile imaging unit has screened over 1,000 HISD students. The program is being underwritten by a $5 million donation by the Kinder Foundation.
Joining me now to talk more about the program is Dr. Jim Willerson, the president and medical director of the Texas Heart Institute. So, Dr. Willerson, what type of abnormalities will these screenings detect?
There are 4 major causes of sudden death in children, on the playground or not, and they are a severe thickening of the heart muscle, a artery that supplies the heart that comes from the wrong place, a change in the left heart muscle so that it becomes spongy, and a change in the right heart muscle so it has a deposition of fat tissue and fibrous tissue. Those are the 4 major causes of sudden death in children on the playground or not. And the MR, magnetic resonance imaging screening we're doing will detect all 4 of those.
And what type of machines are these MR? I mean, are they?
They're magnets.
Okay.
It's not ionizing radiation. The person is put in the magnet. These are used in hospitals all over the world every day to look for abnormalities of one sort or another in an organ in the body. It takes about 15 minutes to screen the child, a total of 40 minutes for the whole process. There are no needles, it's not painful, and in that period of time, we can determine whether the child has any of these abnormalities.
And how many schools are participating, or how many children are we going to screen?
This is for middle schools.
Okay.
We are committed to screen 10,000 children.
Wow.
We are at Pershing right now. We've been at Welch and Revere.
Oh, wow.
We have screened 1,250 already, and this is our 1-year anniversary. November of last year is when we began.
And what do we do with the data once we say, okay, the children don't have these 4?
The MRs are reviewed by expert radiologists in children MR imaging. And once we get an agreement about whether it's normal or abnormal, and if abnormal, what the abnormality is, then we prepare a letter for the parents of the children. The child is made aware, And we make the physician responsible, if there is one, aware. We describe the abnormality, we provide some information about it, and then we make a recommendation about what the family should do.
Okay, okay. And is there any fee or charge to the family?
The
or the
families
parents?
and children are charged nothing.
And
This is done on the basis of the generosity of 2 Houstonians
oh wow.
who made a major grant, Nancy and Rich Kinder.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And so it's completely free for 10,000 middle school children
Yes.
in Houston ISD. And once they have their prognosis, then their family practitioner will tell them their next steps and what they need to do to kind of reverse some of this.
We hope they will, that
Okay.
they'll use that information to protect them. Some of the abnormalities can be corrected. In other cases, we would have to ask that maybe they pick a different activity to be involved in.
But is it only for athletes or?
No, it's for all
Okay,
children.
Okay,
It's the athletes that we read about every
Okay.
2 or 3 weeks. Some athlete dropping dead on a playing field. But here in Houston, a cheerleader recently dropped dead
wow,
in her activities.
wow.
And other children do too.
Or any
So
other type
it's-
of running around a playground, any kind of physical activity can
We're
can
screening
cause
all
this.
the middle-aged children.
Okay, okay. And how long will the study last?
Till we've done 10,000.
Until you've done 10,000.
And then if we need to, we'll move to other parts of Texas to continue this. We would really like for this to be the model
Okay.
of screening young people to identify those at high risk of sudden death.
Now, is it tied in with a research study or some of your students?
Well, it is a research study because no one really knows the frequency of this, despite what I said about becoming aware of one every 2 or 3 weeks. The question would be, how many are there that we're not aware of that are not reported? So we want to know the number and the frequency of each of these abnormalities, and then have a way for children in our state to seek medical help that would be protective.
Well, I tell you what, living in Houston and being a part of Houston Independent School District, our children are fortunate to be so close to the Texas Health Institute and to have funders like Nancy and Rich Kinder who care about the health and safety of the children of Houston.
Thank you very much. We're passionate about this. It's important.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Coming up, can Houston ever beat its rap for being named one of the fattest cities in America? One local group says it's possible, and they believe it starts with our schools. That's coming up next on the Student Achievement Show.